Hey everybody, welcome to the Social Work Brands podcast. I'm your host, Bash Moreno. This week we're going to do something a little different. Uh, if you're into learning about getting multiple streams of income, I'm thinking outside the box as us social workers got to do to think outside the box and try to make some extra money because social work, the money's like, So we got a future superstar in the making in terms of real estate, branding. Her branding is popping. You can follow her on social media. Her branding is off the hook. I learned quite a few things from this lovely young lady here. Her name is Rosalind Ortega, uh, better known as Urban Teach. So Rosalind, take it away. Thank you for coming on to the
Hey,
podcast.
thanks, Bas. Thanks for having me. That's a lovely introduction. Yeah, branding is super important. So I'm happy that you think it's going good because sometimes I'm really hard on myself and I don't think I'm doing enough. But yeah, so I'm happy to be here. Real estate is my favorite conversation all the time, and obviously other ways of making money and supplementing our incomes and growing our incomes in various ways. So I'm
Right.
happy to be here. You ask me whatever questions you like.
Sure. How do you, tell everybody a little bit, about yourself, what you do, with your business and, things that you got popping.
Yeah, of course. So I started Urban Teach 4 years ago. I'm originally from the Bronx. When I started BX, I moved from the Heights because I lived in the Heights after moving out of the Bronx about 9 years ago. So I decided to move to Jersey and buy my first property, which was a multifamily property, trying to get out of renting. I was tired of paying rent and living uncomfortably, no parking, no laundry room. I had a bus stop right outside my window. I had a club in the first floor. It was crazy. So I was stressed out. I was like, I need to leave New York. I'm out of here. So I got really lucky. I found a 2-family house, near the bridge. So I was able to move out here. And that's how it all started, just kind of learn things on my own, how to be a landlord, how to find tenants, how to screen tenants. Through the years, reinvested some of my equity into other properties. And then I started Urban Teachers. I wanted to teach, the things that I've learned on my own. And also to have other people like come and join and collaborate and teach other things, within real estate.
Right. That's great that you do, someone from the Bronx and going up Washington Heights to basically like I want something better for myself, and
Yeah.
a lot of times, people kind of stuck.
Right.
People are just living to live, like days just blend. You could just
Right.
go from one day to the next and like
I call it the autopilot syndrome.
yeah,
You're just like an autopilot. You order the same thing every day when you get off the train to the job.
yeah.
That bacon, egg, and cheese or that coffee, and you go to work, you eat at your desk, you answer call. It's like you just do that for so many years that you never really stop to think like, I need to change my life, like change my surroundings and venture out of what I know and try something new. So I was glad I did that. The rest is history. I love living in North Jersey. I go back to the BX all the time. I saw you last in the BX.
Yes. That was great catching up with you again. In person after just like last year and a half, going on
Right.
2 years and of just full craziness, and even
Yes.
before that, all the craziness with 45.
Oh my God, yes. It's like we go from one to the other, right? It's like the stress of the politics and all the fighting online, and then to COVID.
So now we're fighting over COVID and masks.
And now it's mask, and now it's IRS trying to,
I know.
keep tabs on our checking account. Like, what's going on
Like
here?
this is like I saw that, I was like, and it's funny because it kind of pissed me off too, because really, 2020, at least here in America, because I don't want to toot my own horn, but I got listeners out the U.S. So for those,
Yes, nice.
for those,
Love it.
but for those out the U.S. Here, as of today, as of this recording, September 14th, Happy birthday to my cousin. Um, and, there's a report out that the IRS here in the US is trying to look into business bank accounts to possibly future like audits and all this
Right.
other crazy stuff. Invasion of privacy. So all the
Invasion of
GOP,
privacy.
all the
Yes.
right wingers are having a field day, going to have a
Of
field day.
course they are. They're loving it today. They're like, oh, that's why you voted for Biden. That's what
Exactly.
happens. But
So
yeah, they're
like,
talking about everything, every deposit, every transaction over $600 is going to be, I guess, noted somewhere, you know? So like some people think that the argument is that we don't want to pay taxes. That's not the argument. We have to pay taxes, right?
yeah, absolutely. You go to jail.
Yeah, the argument is like, you know, if my brother decides to give me $1,000 for my birthday and I put it into my checking account, now the IRS thinks that income is taxable and they're gonna compare my income there to my income on my tax papers. And it's like, you can't even gift money anymore if this goes through. So it's really scary.
We're gonna go back to the shoebox and
And the
mattress thing.
mattresses, right?
but,
Exactly.
but my point is that 2020 was really like the first time as us Black and brown people really paid attention to the stock market. Many of us are first time investors. I'm a first time investor. I always
Yes.
had in my head like, how do you invest? Like I got some money that's coming in, like, especially for the kids, thinking about them in the future. Like
Mhm.
I already knew, like in the bank, like sitting in the bank is not where it's at least not right now.
Right.
Like where do I go to invest? And didn't know anything about it. Then pandemic hits, and then boom, here comes
Yeah. Yeah.
the investing game, and so many of us Black and brown people are started to invest, first time investors, people making a few dollars here and there.
Yeah.
And then now a year and a half later, now you want to go into people's accounts. People started businesses. I started my business in 2020,
Yeah.
and it's like
Exactly.
now you want to go, and it looks very shady, and like I
Right. It looks
definitely
very
see.
targeted, like it's targeted
Yes,
to the
yeah.
specific group. Because if you think about it, the wealthy is not worried about $600 going into their account, right?
No, of course not.
Like, so you're gonna look at my $600 going in, you know what I mean? So
So
it's a
if I
shame.
get an extra little money, or even like my poor dad, he's like, give me like some money. Like I don't need your money. Like still like trying to take. I'm the youngest, so he still wants
Yeah.
to like send money, or I'm like, here's some money so you can help pay my rent. So it's like
Yeah.
put in the bank account and stuff like that, and then it's like I put in the account, and I was like, it looks like taxable income. Like no, I'm like putting that money back out because it's going to
Yeah.
the bill. Is like rent, especially in North Jersey, the Bronx,
Hmm.
New York City is
It's going
absolutely
crazy.
ridiculous. Especially like in the hood is like
Right.
all these skyscrapers and luxury apartments and just
Right.
going for 2,300 for a studio 1 bedroom, and it's like,
Yeah.
pero like there's like you gotta walk like 3-4 blocks to a supermarket, 3-4 blocks to take your child to school. It's like
Right.
it doesn't make any sense underneath the
Yeah.
major deacons. So it's like
Right.
not
Right.
make any sense. Like
Yeah. And then
New York,
displacing the people that have been there all these years, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely, and you're not making any affordable housing for the middle class, lower middle class. You're not making enough or fast enough housing for seniors. Like so,
Right.
it is a hot mess, and I don't think, at least in New York, I don't think the shelter system ever recovered from Hurricane
Mm.
Sandy. So people don't want to talk about that. So
Right. Right.
it was already a shit show before Sandy, but after that, I don't think it's recovered since.
Right.
So it's been a hot mess, and it just make you think like what's going on, and people are paying attention. Like if you're not paying attention, you're
Oh,
going to be lost. So
you're gonna
you
be
have
left
to.
behind. Yeah.
And people don't care. The government's not going to care. Like people
Right.
starting to make some money, like they're not going to care. Just how I make some more money. What's the next move? What's going on? Like
Right.
now we got crypto and like real estate, and
And
it's just
stocks
like,
and
what's next?
online stores. There's like a little bit, there's everything for everyone, is what I always say. So it's like if you don't like the stock market and crypto, get into a Shopify store, sell some stuff, right? Or like If you don't
That's gonna
like,
be the next move. That the Shopify is gonna be next to me.
yeah, exactly. Well, and the thing is like, well, you got to think about it, because if we wait on government to fix things, they're never going to fix things. It's only going to get worse, right? I know people paying $2,000 in rent in the city, in the BX, North BX. And I'm like, gosh, like that's a lot of money. That's like more than half your income, going to rent, and you're not
Yeah,
even comfortable. But it's definitely, we just got to keep talking about it and sharing, information. And those that want to catch on, they'll catch on. And then some others just don't want to listen. So there's not much you can do there, right?
yeah, and to relate it to social work, the social work school, they want you to, at least when I went to school, and I hear stuff today like, okay, you could start a private practice. Okay, well, how do I, like, do I need to form an LLC? Do, like, all this formation of stuff of your small
Business
business? They
structure.
don't teach the business structure. They don't teach you all that. Okay, just
Right.
go see these clients. You can make some money off of it. Okay, but there's layers behind that. Like,
Right.
do you want to? If you're in New York or in New Jersey, like each state does their own thing, and there's a different process. There's our license is not a universal license. You got to get a license
In every
for
state.
each state. So, and
Yeah.
it doesn't transfer. If you want to move, like, you got to retake our licensing exam for most cases. So
Okay.
it doesn't, that doesn't get talked about in school. So it's like, okay, I want to, like, have a small business or a side hustle. I'm working a 9 to 5 and have this side hustle and doing the therapy. And it's like, okay, but there's so much stuff that goes into it, like that nobody, like, where do you learn this
Right.
information from? So at least
Yes.
now, like, at least like the past couple years, there's almost like too much
Too
information.
much
Almost,
information. Yeah.
it's like everybody's kind of like, I know, like, so many people doing like credit now. Like, it's like easy to get.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, business credit is a big thing. People doing real estate. There's a
Right.
whole bunch of people doing stocks and business credit, and it's almost like, whoa, like, where do I go for this
Yeah. Yeah.
information, and what to do, how to get into it without, like, okay, I may have a couple bucks here and there. What, like, well, what do I do? Like, okay, I want to make like an extra stream of income. Where do I go? How do I do this? So
Yeah.
it's like, so here you are with the real estate. How can someone who might be interested or never thought about it, like, how can someone can get into the real estate game?
So for me, like I'm really full. I started rebranding the business model because I really wanted to niche it down even more. So at the beginning, I was doing classes to teach people how to buy real estate, right? Buy any kind of real estate. So if you want multifamily, Section 8 rentals, I was doing Airbnb for a little bit, like, through my private groups. But now I want to just focus on the renters, the people that rent right now, that want to get into their first home or their first rental property. Because I always tell people, look, if you're not ready to move out of New York, or you work for the city or you work for the MTA, and you're making 80, 90, 100 grand a year with overtime, and you're renting, but you're like, you know what, I got a couple of more years in, I don't want to leave the city just yet. You can still invest in a rental, right? You can pay your rent in New York, put the money that you do have into a rental property or multifamily rental property, let's say somewhere within an hour or an hour and a half. And you can actually use the cash flow, some of the money that's left over, to cover your rent or some of your rent. But at least your money's working for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But sitting in the bank is not going to do anything. Sitting in
No.
the bank is going to laugh at you and be like, here's 0.09%. Have that, where you can buy something and, your tenants are paying your mortgage. You're getting an extra $500, $1,000 a month that you can put towards your rent, or you can just invest it into something else. So right now I'm focused on that specifically. So I'm kind of rebranding into, trying to find the newbies that are really trying to get out of renting and into buying their first place.
Wow, that's awesome that you do that. Now, like, I've switched gears to a little bit, about your branding, and you're always posting content, like at least 3 or 4 posts a day.
I try, yeah. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, talk about that work because I have many of my peers who have small businesses have try to do the branding thing for their businesses and have private practices doing the therapy and they want to have starting podcasts and put that in as
Mhm.
part of their branding as well. Like what's some tips you can give regarding branding and at least makes a little bit more money.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, the most important thing really is identifying your customer. Like, who are you trying to acquire, right? To try you as a service. So I know that with social work, there's different areas, right? Like you can
Yeah,
do social worker for children or for couples therapy or, people with trauma or like people that have just survived like a health crisis. So you just got to identify your niche, like, okay, who is it that I'm trying to help? And then build all of your content around that. Because, even if your page has 500 followers, 1,000 followers, but if they're all needing your service because they can all relate to what it is you can help them with, then that's all you need. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
sometimes the numbers really don't mean much. There's people out there that have like 50,000 followers on their pages, but they make like zero income because they haven't narrowed down their market. They're just posting about everything and everything. They're kind of all over the place. Like someone that looks at their page is like, I'm confused. What is this? What's their specialty? So I would just tell them to focus on your specialty, whichever, whatever that is. Pick one or two things. You don't have to pick just one, but like focus on one or two things that you specialize in. Make sure your bio says it is very clear. And then every time you post, if you don't post something that's relatable to that, at least in the caption, make sure that you mention like, just PSA, I assist with marriage counseling. I've been a professional for whatever years, like, throw in your resume, a little bit of your resume in there.
right.
I think that would help for sure.
Yeah, and even just just being consistent. I know
Consistent. Yeah, you have to.
I've
Yeah.
been like little struggling. Not with the podcast, it's just with the
The
business.
social. Yeah. Because it's hard, it's a lot of
It's
work.
yeah, it's definitely hard. It's especially now with this starting the new job and just the whole summer. Like
Yeah.
from the start of the summer, kind of ruined what I wanted to do, and it's just hard. Like it's like a first summer like that I didn't have to work, which was weird.
Yeah. Because
Like
yeah,
whole
you're like, what
summer
am I?
off. Like
You
it was
feel like you
almost
had
like,
to be somewhere where you weren't sure.
but I spent the summer job searching and networking and just like
Yeah.
buying like getting the at least made time for like the business to really kind of like starting building that small foundation a
Right.
little bit and then focusing on one thing I was trying to do like two things at the same time and it was like man
That's
you
tough.
focus on one
Yeah.
thing while at the same time try to do everything else in my life
Right. Yeah.
and just focus on one thing which I'm doing now so that's coming soon and
Good.
forward
Good.
to it, and then I can focus on the next thing, the
Yeah.
last couple months out the year, and then 2022, God willing, just all right,
Take it from there.
we doing
Yes.
everything.
Good. Yeah. I mean, that's important too that you say that because, like when we start getting into that business mindset, we're like you said, there's a lot of information out there. So people you can easily get crazy about it, right? You could be like, oh, I could do this and that and this and that. But in reality, it's like you have to like laser focus on one thing, which is why I'm laser focusing on entry level newbie real estate real estate buyers, investors. Because before I was like, oh, I'm going to teach about this, or maybe I'll teach about flipping, or maybe I'll include a business credit class, which I did, remember?
Yes,
Maybe I'm going
absolutely.
to do,
That was clutch, by the way.
yeah, how am I going to, maybe I'll do a class on leaving your 9 to 5, which I did a brunch about. So like all these ideas that pop into my
The
head,
website class that I still got that
building the
archived in my
website. Exactly. So I was trying to teach all of the things that I learned throughout the process, but then I'm like, wait, I keep like going away from my main focus, which is creating content and classes for new investors. So I have to stop myself. Like anytime some idea comes into my head, I'm like, nope, not doing it. I'm not ready for that. Like, let me just do what I need to do. So it's very important to balance it.
But but it's good that you have that self-awareness, because you can literally, like you said, you can literally try to do a little bit of everything, and it's like you kind of get lost in your own way, and you like lost in your own way to like you're not going to make the sales that you might have in your head that you want to do, and it's like what's wrong, and it's like you're doing a little bit too much, and it's like calm down. And that's why I took a break from podcasting for a little bit, just like breaking into seasons, or like let me record, and okay, I got these recordings. Okay, now we like this all and popping. September last year was really I started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so I kind of like try to like let's see the magic strikes twice. September 2021 again. So let's see where this goes.
Got it.
But it's good that you have. But it's good that you had that self-awareness that and I think people don't realize that they need that self-awareness, or really like look into themselves or what they want to do. I know Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about self-awareness and
all the time. I love it because it's true.
I know it's like
we need it.
So contagious. And yeah, need it is important, and figuring things out. And us social workers, just in our work, we deal with so much of people's trauma, and it's like, whoa, like.
I mean, you gotta, I can only imagine. Like, you have to be able to turn it off and like cut the feeling down. Like, okay, I'm feeling this way because I just spoke to someone that like put all that energy on me, and now I gotta do my own stuff. I can't even imagine how you do that. Like, you guys deserve a yearly award just for doing that. That's hard work.
Yeah, we need our student loans forgiven.
Facts. You are right about that. Maybe you need to start a little coalition about that, because seriously.
Oh yeah, I've been talking about it a lot recently. Even when I went to DC for Labor Day weekend, I went to the White House and did
nice. Did you?
Yeah.
I missed that. I didn't see that. That's dope.
It was a little quick 30-second video. It was like I was literally standing. The White House is like, I don't know how people used to jump over. Like, now you can't do that. It's like layers over layers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like literally, was like outside the White House, my phone was like, Biden, it's a good day to end student loan debt. Like, let's go.
Yeah, man, it needs to happen, because that's what's keeping a lot of people from saving and making those
saving
payments
and investing and buying rental property and getting first homes, like decreasing the wage gap, like so many things, and it's just it's absolutely ridiculous. And
it is.
I was still trying to interview a social worker outside of the Western Hemisphere and get their perspective on America.
That would be
I interviewed one person, and it was just a couple of things he said about the U.S. So I definitely want to do that just to get a different perspective. What you think about America?
Listen, they will tell you to your face. I went to Italy like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And then whenever we spoke to people that are not American, like from other countries in Europe, they were like, I don't know why you guys think you're the best thing since sliced bread. Like, we have it good here. We have free healthcare. We have free education. We have siesta 2-hour days, 4-week vacations per year. Maternity leaves are like 9 months to a year, full pay. Like this lady was bragging about all her stuff, and I'm sitting there like, I can argue with you. Like, you're right.
Yeah.
I won't even try.
Yeah, it's crazy how ass backwards we are in many things.
Right.
So Only time will tell what was going on there.
Yeah, we
I
got
was
to
just
build
telling
our
my
own economies. That's what it is.
I was telling my fiance today, like, in November, these Republicans, they taking over again, midterm elections.
Yeah, it's gonna be real funny and tricky. Who knows?
I actually saw a post like a couple of days ago. It's like we got the House, we got the Senate, and the president is Democrat, and still nothing's getting done. I'm like, wow, like that's really true.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, I can't even watch him speak on TV. I'm like, oh my God, he's like falling over. Like the guy just needs to go home. Like, what's going on here? Where's the vice president? I don't see her anywhere. What's going
No,
on here?
they got her like locked up somewhere.
Locked up in the basement. I don't
I saw
know.
somebody like today like got arrested for plotting to kill her. I'm like, she hasn't even done anything.
Wow, you're right. Like, why would you even waste your time? And first of all, you won't even find her because she's nowhere.
They got her like
That's
locked
terrible.
up.
Terrible. Yeah, I was really hoping to see her like, do speeches and travel the country and come to like urban cities and like talk to.
She traveled a little bit. I think she went to California because California is a hot mess with their election. I think it's today actually was their election. So
Ah,
to keep their governor.
yeah. Oh gosh, that's another mess. But I always tell people, look, politics are always going to be messy. We just got to worry about creating our own economy, teaching our kids.
Right, and I think that's also what people finally kind of like understood as well is like it don't matter who the president is or what's going
Right.
on in Congress, like just make your own money and then you deal with the IRS whenever you during tax time or whatever
Yeah.
happens from there it happens. So as long as you making money, you like get man just started my business in October and then wait, I paid for all this other stuff from the beginning of the year. I could like put it on my taxes now. It's
That's
like yeah.
right.
So when my tax bill came, I was like, oh. I was like, oh shit.
In a good way or in a bad way?
No good way. There was
Okay, good,
it's all
good,
the
good.
tax because it reduced my taxable
Yes,
income, which
of
I
course.
learned during the pandemic. I was like, oh yeah, that's what that term means. Okay,
Yeah.
it's like
I just did that today. I ran my class sales through September, like January through September, and I looked at the number. I was like, oh, I did pretty good. And then I have a folder where I print everything. I'm really old school, so I print like all my bills, invoices, and stuff. So like everything I paid through GoDaddy, like the subscription every month.
of course. You
I
kind of need that now with Biden want to get in our business.
exactly right.
So you're gonna need that.
Yeah, but I printed a bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh, I could write this off. I could write that off. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. I'm gonna write that off, So I'm reconciling now before the end of the year because then it gets crazy.
Yeah, I even thought about it today. It was like I need to do a Salesforce. I need to do an ADP or
Yes,
something. Just
I do ADP and I pay myself on W-2 from my business account. Yeah, so if you need help with that, just let me know.
okay, and that's important for the social workers with their
Yes,
businesses and the the importance of tax ramifications and
right.
all these write-offs that you could do and get and renting out office space to do your therapy,
Yes,
you getting a couch and right,
right.
all those that stuff could be written off and things like that and goes back again to grad school that okay, you want to have a nice office and all
Yeah,
this stuff and do the therapy that you need an office, like how do you go about doing that? And there's lease contracts
right.
and all that stuff that goes into it and you're spending money. Okay, I went to grad school, spend money
And then now you
and
got to
now
spend
that
more money.
and now you gotta spend
Yeah,
more money to take a test to get your license and now you gotta spend money for your
right.
business you want and it's like it never ends and it's just
Hmm.
doesn't get talked about. Once you got your degree and then you lucky enough to get your license, then it's like okay, your job you were on
Yeah.
your own and it's like it, it doesn't make
They don't,
any
and
sense.
that's the problem I have with education, the education system. Like sometimes I do post how frustrating it is because I'm like, I didn't learn this in high school. I didn't learn this in college. I didn't go to college. I don't have a 4 year, but I did one semester in college and I went to a trade school. And I'm like, I didn't learn anything that I know now, like 90% of the information I use for my business, I learned it on my own. Right. So that's why I tell people like, okay, if you want to go to school, it's great if you picking a specific field, like you wanted to be a social worker, you picked that field, you did it. But then everything else that you need to like function as a business is self-education. So, it's so important that people just take the time out to like really learn those things. Because school, you can't rely on school to teach you any of that. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, I was happy to see in my son's middle school that they did have a business class. I wish it was like
Nice.
the entire school year, but it was only like a semester. I was like, okay, at least it's
Listen,
something.
take it. Right.
And they're doing it again in the spring next year. So
That's
I'm
good.
excited.
That's good. And then you can teach them everything you know, because now you're
Yeah, exactly.
full-blown entrepreneur.
They see me all the time on the Market Monday Zoom. Like, don't bother me. 8:00. Don't bother me. I'm on the Zoom call. If Wall Street Chapter come on, I'm like,
Oh
I'm
man.
on the Zoom.
Listen, Wall Street, he follows my page, by the way. So
oh,
he
that's
said
amazing.
I saw him on my story like yesterday, was it? He looked at all my stories on my posts. No, the day that I saw J-Lo on Sunday.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, look.
Don't get me started with her. We're gonna have an argument about
Oh,
her.
I know. It's okay. I'm used to it. I argue with everybody about J-Lo. But I saw that he saw all my stories, right? And I'm like, look at you, Trapper, snooping around my J-Lo post. Like, I know what you're up to. So I sent him a DM and he was laughing. He was like, LOL Queen. So I got to start jumping on his lives to see, like, how you could send
I was on his live today.
Were you? Oh, that's dope.
At work, I was like work's been really slow. Like, hey, anybody in Choppers Anonymous? I'm like, I am. And he picked me.
Nice. Yeah, he's such a cool guy, man. I really want to do something in New York to invite him up here to do something.
Yeah,
once I get my, other space.
That'd be great. I heard Ernie was trying to do another New York City event. So
they need to, man. I was kind of not upset, but I was a little bit like, for the Invest Fest, I was like, I wish they would have done it up here. It would have been like insane. But I know that Atlanta's the hotspot.
Yeah, and most of their people are down there, so
right.
it's easier for them to do that.
I was being selfish about it.
Yeah, me too. I was like, y'all should have did it in New York. I would have went, but Atlanta's been a hot mess with the pandemic. I wasn't trying to I was like.
Yeah. But it looks like COVID hasn't hit Atlanta though, because people are just still doing what they do. And Miami too.
And that's what the GOP is like. See, like the COVID cases are not going up there, so it's like.
yeah. Florida too. Florida's wide open.
Florida's been wide. I've been trying to get Florida out of part of the United States for like 6 years now. I don't think Florida stay anymore. I don't care. My brother lives there.
Oh man, yeah, half my family lives down there, and I'm like, I'm every time I speak in the wintertime, I'm like, maybe I need to reconsider, because I used to live in Miami, so I'm like, maybe I'll reconsider going back. Then come spring, I'm like, hell no, I'm not going down there. I'm staying right where I am. But maybe eventually, when I get really sick of the winter weather, we'll see. But they're just special down there. They really are.
Yeah, they're beyond special.
Sorry for any Florida listeners. You know what we're talking about.
But I don't know, that it's something. Even here in Delaware, like within like the last week to 10 days, today I saw somebody driving with 2 small Trump flags on the side of the car.
Wow.
And I felt like honking, but like, he lost, right?
No, don't do it, because listen,
no, they wild.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I seen two signs. One is like black letters and blue all around, saying like the liar lives in the White House, talking about Biden. And then I saw another sign about Biden being incompetent and just ask the Taliban.
Wow. Listen, I always tell people, or I just say it anywhere, if you're that passionate about politics that you're going to go out of your way to buy flags and banners and put it in your car, it's not even an election year. What are you doing? Right? So I hope you take that same amount of time to check your credit score, check your savings and your budget, and that your kids' school homework is done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I saw somebody drove around with a Confederate flag, which the only time I seen that when I drove through Virginia Memorial Day weekend. So that's something. I'm from New York. I'm not used to seeing no Confederate flag. So I saw that, And then I think the same guy had a flag made that something about Biden's an
Oh my
idiot or
God.
something, something like that. So
Too
this is
passionate.
his own state. Talking
Yeah, I was exactly. I'm gonna say that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you're that passionate about it, I hope your life and your finances are in order because we're spending the time on the wrong shit. So
Yeah, I totally agree. And even the school board meetings in my my school board, like
yeah,
fighting over the mask, and even throughout the country, people fighting over the mask. And it's like, even my own state, which the governor finally signed a bill that he took for whatever reason took forever to sign to hire more social workers and school counselors. But
okay,
then
good.
again, but I was told by the school counselor that of the school I'm going to be working with that it's only going to be for the elementary school kids. Okay, but what about but the middle
Oh,
school kids? Like
yeah, man. And the
it's
middle school
like
and high schoolers that are the ones that need it the most. They're, bodies changing. They going through all these bouts and drama and stuff. Oh,
I was dealing with middle school kids that wanted to kill themselves last school year. Like it was like it's crazy. Like we have all these kids like
yeah,
with all these mental health issues, and they can have the world, and it just still
yeah,
doesn't matter. So
right. Social media too is not good for them. I have a 13-year-old and she was home all of last year, first year ever, and she got depressed. I had to get her a therapist, had to do all of that because she was crying every day for no reason, and it was because she was home and she's never been used to that. She's always been in dance class. She plays the sax, she plays the violin. But for the whole year, she was just home and it was like driving her crazy. And as soon as school started, actually over the summer, like I started pairing her up with some friends of hers. I was able to like skip the sessions. So from every week, we went to every 2 weeks. And then I did in August, we only did one session. And then by the end of August, she's like, you know what, mom, I think I'm okay. I don't need a therapist, for September. So I kind of canceled the sessions. I'm like, all right, let me see, like touch and go.
yeah.
But imagine if it's a parent that never really did that never really identified a problem and just let their kids cry in their room every day, and it just gets worse if you don't do something about it.
Absolutely. And it's like I try to, in my head, try to be more. I kind of like more focus in my head, like with the kids, and just like no, like my 9-year-old, my 12-year-old, but my son took it hard like this year too. It was like,
Yeah.
especially the move didn't help like all his friends that
Mhm.
he grew up with from like the first grade to now, and it's like
Right.
how do like he stay communicate with them, which he's not ready for a cell phone.
Yeah, no, he's 9, right? He's the little one.
He's 12.
Oh, he's the older one. Okay,
He's
12.
the older, like he ain't ready for. He's not ready for nothing. Like so,
Yeah.
it's like balancing out, work,
Yeah. Yeah.
business, like parenting. Is like how do I like? I told him like I finally purchased Zoom.
I was gonna
So I
say
was
put
like,
him on Zoom, yeah, on the tablet
he's like,
or
no,
on the
I don't want. I
laptop.
don't. He's like, I don't want to do Zoom. I'm like, pues entonces like, I'm not getting you the phone. You need to learn compromise. Learn this one.
Yeah. I mean, they do the Roblox and the whatever other games. They talked with the headphones, get them Xbox or whatever.
Yeah, but like, worry about the video game. I think he plays a lot of video games too. It's like, no, you need
Yeah,
to
it's
find something balanced. You
something
need to,
else.
stay active and like, okay, you back in the school building. I purposely did the summer camp for both of them just to get
Oh,
them
good.
acclimated
Yeah,
throughout the summer and meet friends and stuff like that. So he's got
good.
a couple friends that went to the summer camp too. That's in the school now. So all right, like now
Yeah, that's a good move.
you're the
Yeah.
social butterfly. You got that from your mama, girl.
Yeah.
That from me.
Aw,
So
that's good.
go out there, talk, do your thing. And my girl, she's always like want to give everybody a hug. She don't give you a hug, like
Aw,
there's something wrong.
love it, love it. But listen, that's what you have to do is like you got to find that balance for them but the thing is, at least we identify it, right? Like some parents that I know are like, they just need to get over it, or they're very abrupt about it. And it's like, no, imagine you being 12 and like going from having a whole social life at school to now being locked in the house on a laptop for 8 hours a day. Like my daughter had a 3-minute breaks in between her class. She didn't even want to eat because the teachers were like, you can't eat while the class is in session. You got to have your camera on, like all this stress. And I would have to literally pop into the laptop and be like, excuse me, she's taking a break. She's going to turn her camera off now. Because I'm like, it got really silly after a while. It's like these kids are going through, it's a lot. And then watching all the COVID news and the COVID, stuff. And it was just crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with our kids, and it's now us as social workers, like, we here, like, let's go, let's. But it's really hard for everybody, and continue best wishes for you as a parent first and foremost with both your beautiful babies.
Thank you.
I know last year I was like fighting every day, like turn on your freaking camera on, turn your camera on.
Yeah.
It was every day for years, like to a point like, I'll turn your camera on. You get in front of your Zoom class. I don't care what your teacher says. Like,
my daughter be like, you're not supposed to hit me, right? I said, I'm from the Bronx, right? Like, what? What are you talking about? She goes, well, you're here in the suburbs in New Jersey. Parents don't hit their kids. I said, really? You want to bet? Go ahead, test me. But she's a good kid. I can't complain.
Take it to Broad Street in Newark and see what happens.
That's right. Just drop her off right there in the middle, blah, and come back and get her. 2 hours.
The whole Ironbound section in Newark. Mama ve que pasa.
I'm gonna leave you right there, see what happens. Are you gonna find your way home? But yeah, luckily I don't have to deal with that just yet. Hopefully never, but we'll see.
Yeah, but there's a perfect segue. Like, how do you balance, your business and then your parenting to your kids, and being a wife, and I have social work friends who are married with kids, and like how with businesses as well. Like how do you, like, for yourself, like how do you balance all that?
It's hard, but I have to keep everything on a schedule. So like I try not to deviate from my schedule too much. So I was never very schedule happy. That's why I left my 9 to 5, because I hated, like, that structure would drive me crazy. Like I felt like I was in a box. So I like creating my day, right? But with the business and the kids and marketing and all that stuff, it's a lot. So after a while, you have to go back to structure. You have to go back to a routine. So I keep everything, literally scheduled. That's why I was like, Bass, Tuesday night. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my schedule. I try to stick to it. So, I drop them off in school in the morning. During the day, I have like 4 or 5 hours of like quiet time. So I get to go to Home Depot, pick anything up that I need for the properties. I get to do the paperwork that I have on my desk, whether that's like a bill that I have to pay or these calendars that I use, very old school calendars. So I put my notes in there so that I know what's coming up for the week. I cook early, so I try to do dinner like by 4. So by nighttime, when they get hungry after 6, 7, the food is already there. They just got to warm it up. So I have like systems in place, so this way everybody's is getting what they need from me, but then I'm getting my quiet time too. So like right now is 9 o'clock, my husband's downstairs in the basement, probably on Xbox. And the 2 girls are upstairs. They're already ready. They ate dinner. They took baths. They did their homework. So they're just watching TV in bed. So, and then I can teach my classes at night. So it's just balancing it all,
Yeah, it's important. I'm still working on the structure and writing stuff down. I've been trying to put stuff on my phone. I put a calendar, and now I'm balancing 2 different school districts, one for work and the kids. So it's like, and the schedules are different because the school districts, they do their own thing down here, and it's like, and it's like, so it'll help me with my business to eventually just be more structured, be more organized. So that's now my strong suit is getting better. So like I already got all the days when they off, all the days off in my calendar. Like, all right.
That's what I did too. I printed the school cat. They go to 2 different districts, right? So I had to like I was like, okay, they're off on these days in November, these days in December, these days in February. I'm already like, November, I'm going here. Like February, MLK weekend, I'm going to DR for 4 days. Like, because you got to also throw in like a little bit of fun without the kids. So that's how I'm doing it now. I got to plan it ahead no matter what to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed the last couple weeks of August with no kids. So
Nice.
that's definitely
It's
important.
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, it's necessary, and I make no shame whatsoever. Post a meme up about me celebrating and get free.
Listen, I have no shame. And I'm like, if you try to shame me for that, you can go,
Exactly.
F whatever. Like, because for 345 days of the year, like you're around all the time. You're doing everything for them. So you deserve your break.
Yeah, of course. And so like, oh, go to grandma's house for a couple of weeks. I'm like, yay, we can't wait. And
Nice.
they pack, they
FaceTime
go,
me. You'll
like,
be like, call me on the
they're like,
phone.
bye, they're like, bye, like,
And
like,
I think they need that too, because they also need to appreciate us. Being away from us is when they really start to like be like, oh, I miss mom, oh, mom does this for me. I always feel like they take us for granted when they're around all the time. So
yeah, and which is what made the pandemic begin to stay so hard. It was like 24/7, like you became parent, teacher, like
all of
school
it.
counselor. It's like everything.
Right. Yes.
The siblings became like schoolmates, and then like just everybody's on top of each other with nowhere to go, and it's like getting bare
Yeah.
essentials from the supermarket. And supermarkets a line outside to buy
Yeah.
groceries, and gotta go to the bank, and there's a line to go to the bank, a line for everything. It was
For everything. And the disinfecting everything too.
and
Even the
disinfecting everything.
bags. Remember those days? Like my husband would be like, leave the bags outside. We gotta spray them. I'm like, what? It was some crazy shit. And it's again, the news drove everybody crazy too. So it was just a
Oh
bad
yeah,
time.
yeah, of course, but no, definitely I saw that everything, like the cereal box, like grab the cereal box, like come
Under
home.
your shoes. Like I
Yeah,
remember it was bad.
I still do the shoes a little bit from time to time, just
Yeah,
for being in a school building. I was like
true.
with the little kids unvaccinated, so
The
it's like
germ boxes, I
yes, the
call
germ
them,
box.
the little ones. Mine's in kindergarten now. So I'm like, every time she gets home, I'll be like, spray, go upstairs, wash your hands, take off your clothes, put it in the hamper. Like, don't
Yeah,
touch me.
but is that real though? Because you just don't know.
Right, right.
And it's not just like media things, just your own personal preference. I became like down low, like little germaphobe things.
We
To,
all did. Yeah. Because again, it was, you didn't
I,
know
I,
you didn't know what was really happening.
I accidentally touched a doorknob. Like, oh shit, I gotta go
My
wash my
hands were
hands.
so
Like
dry too from like washing my hands every 10
washing
minutes.
hands, and like the hand sanitizer was like, it's like,
Yeah, yeah. It was terrible. Yeah. I'm glad we're in better times, I guess. So we'll see.
yes, somewhat. We'll see, because these variants, they not playing.
Yeah, I know, I know. But I just tell people stay healthy, again, we gotta keep working on our immune system. I know that a lot of us
Vitamins.
we don't talk about that enough, but it's like we have to, they work and they help. They make you
Yeah,
stronger. So
yeah, definitely been like I've taken so many vitamins. It was like
yeah.
I took so many vitamins in my life, and it helped because now you have to. And I will, if you want to promote the vaccines or
Promote
whatever,
the healthy stuff too.
fine, promote exactly. Get the
Yeah.
vitamin D, get the
Yes.
natural sunlight.
Get your physical done if you need to do it twice a year, once a year, to make sure that everything else is in order, your sugar and your cholesterol and,
Right,
you know,
promote immune foods and drinks or
right.
whatever it is. Add to the immunity. We're living longer as human beings with, and our seniors are living into like 70, 80, 90. I had a client briefly, was like 101,
Oh,
who was alive for the Spanish flu. So it's like, people living longer, and it's like, okay, like do do stuff, have the housing available, do all these food
yeah.
options. that are healthy, especially in like black and brown communities, like
Yes,
not just
exactly.
the suburbs, like just everywhere, like
Right.
have like a healthier, options, and for my, you know, I know I gotta get back to the exercise. I went from pre-COVID 4 or 5 up to 7 days a week, depending on the week. I was
Yeah.
in the gym every day to like I haven't sniffed the gym in like over over 2.5 months, and
All right, it's time to get back. I'm saying the
yeah,
same thing too because I need to get back, but more for like I just sit a lot like in front of the laptop, so I feel like I
yeah.
need to move more because I'm getting joint pains now. Like my elbows are hurting, my knees. It must be the 40s. I don't know, maybe damn 40s.
But yeah, 42 is coming up in a few weeks, so I know that. No,
Yeah,
at least
43 for me.
so these going up these stairs in the house, it helps a little bit, but not like going up subway stairs and
Right.
running around doing home visits. Now I'm like I'm driving everywhere, so
Exactly. Same here.
it's like
Yeah, yeah. No, if I go up like 3 flights of stairs, I'm already like, oh my God, I'm dying. You know, right. If you think about it, when we lived in the BX, I'm sure you as well, like you go up and down, the
Yeah,
train up and down, you're
that's
moving
not,
all the time.
yeah, moving, yeah, exactly. Even when I go back home, see dad, and it's like I purposely try to do things that I don't have to take the train or the bus. So like I walk everywhere. By the time I'm getting these 10,000 steps like nothing, and then like
Right.
down here it'll take me like 3 or 4 days to get
Yeah.
10,000
Yeah.
steps. So so it's getting back to. But I take my vitamins. Like I joke around. I was like, remember Hulk Hogan in the '80s? Like
Yeah.
say prayers, take your vitamins, believe in yourself.
Right. Right. Right.
That's my COVID mentality. Like,
Good. Good.
say the prayers, take the vitamins, and believe you get through this this
Got
pandemic.
good. Definitely needs to be promoted for sure. Like I'm getting ready to do my remedio, like for the winter. I get a jar and I put like garlic, diente de garlic. I put onion, ginger, lemon juice, honey, lots of honey. And I make this jar that my grandma makes in DR. And she's like, take a spoon of that every morning. It's just honey and like all the juices from everything else. And you don't get no colds. You go through the winter, you're good. And you know what? I started believing her a couple of years ago because I started doing it. And I rarely ever get colds in the winter. I don't know what it is, but I'm doing it.
That's the next side hustle for you then. Like
All
love
right.
that.
Trademark it, put my name
They
on it.
might- exactly. Hey, you never know. Especially now, like if this variant gets worse, so like there you go. There's a problem. You got a solution to the problem, and there
Right,
you go.
right. Oh my gosh. The pharmaceutical companies will sue me right away. Like, you're lying. Don't put this out. You're going to take money from us. No, no, no. Well, I'll tell my close friends. I'll tell you and some other people to do it. That's it. That's about it.
Yeah, that didn't sound. It worked, but it didn't sound like something I would do. Like, but if it's gonna keep me healthy, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have some water or some
Right. To
Gatorade as
chase.
a
It actually
chaser.
doesn't taste bad because it's half of the jar is honey. So it's still
I don't like
sweet.
honey.
Oh, you don't like honey? Oh no. Okay, so I can't help you with that.
That's why I said the water or some Gatorade or something to chase it afterwards. Like,
Got it. Got it. Okay, I got you. All right, cool, cool.
so the I noticed your IG, and I know you mentioned yes, followers don't really matter, but you've been like so consistent that the followers are just coming on, and I seen like another like social worker, like I don't know if you know her or not, but I don't remember who she is, but she reposted on her story like something like you
Oh,
put on
really?
Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, so somebody else know who you are, and like you're getting your name out there, and I'm putting in existence. You're gonna be 2022. You're gonna be on Market Mondays with the fellas. You're gonna be the superstar. You're gonna be in Invest Fest next year.
Listen, I have a plan. My plan is exactly all of that. So yes, put it into the existence.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes,
Like, but
working on it for sure.
like so consistent, like mentioned earlier, like consistency, like Last I saw you like over like was like going on 20K almost.
I'm on 20. I'm gonna go on 21. I think I'm close to 21. Yeah.
And how long did that take you?
It's been almost 4 years because December would be 4 years. But you know, I still think I'm like way behind, honestly, for the amount of work that I've put in. I think when I put those posts that trigger people, I lose followers. Like some people just don't like it. And I'm like, okay, bye. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't it
So it
doesn't matter.
doesn't, yeah, because again, like to me, it's more important that I resonate with people that are like on the same wavelength, you know, or at least someone that's trying to like learn and improve and get better.
Right.
But if it's someone that's like completely on the opposite spectrum of what my message is, then I don't want you on my page. Because all you're gonna do is come on here and like argue with people, start fights, and
Yeah.
call me
Unnecessary.
this. I had a guy call me a scammer. I said, really? Have you taken any of my classes? Well, no, but I could tell you're a scammer. Really? How am I a scammer? Send me your email. Let me see if you've taken any of my classes. He's like, you should give all of your classes out for free. Why are you charging? I said, oh, maybe you should go to universities and ask them to be tuition free. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, get off my page. But he will keep on. Everything I would post, he will go on and say something real stupid. I'm like, listen, I don't argue with people on social media. I just don't. Like, I want to invest my energy in helping people, not arguing with people.
Right.
So I blocked him. I was like, blocked. He created another page to still come back in and like provoke me. Like he thought I was really I was gonna get out of my headspace.
Right.
Every time he would comment, I would just give him like a laugh, like ha ha, ha ha. And I would piss him off even more. I was like, ha ha. So, you know, social media is a tricky place. You just gotta really know how to manage it. And just really focus on your niche, focus on who it is you want to cater to. And anybody outside of that, then they can love you or hate you, you know, you just keep it moving.
And at the end of the day, it don't matter. It'll be like how much you made in net at the end of the year is all that matters. And you know, you care,
Yeah,
you know, take care of yourself, you know, self-care and care for your family. As long as your family is good, like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like it's just
exactly.
one day at a time. You're already dealing with enough.
That's right. Enough pressure from everything else.
It's
So, you know,
from everything.
yeah, yeah. And on consistency, I would just say, you know, usually I pick like Sundays when it's quiet, like before everybody gets up. I get up and I write down like my ideas for the week, kind of like what I want to post about. So I'll be like on Monday, I want to post about first time home buyers. On Tuesday, I want to post about financing or mortgages. On Wednesday, I want to post about, you know, anything like Section 8. And at least I have an idea of what I want to post about. So when I get up in those days, then I know that I need to create something on that topic. But it helps me because some days I wake up and I'm like, I have a headache or I'm not feeling well, or I'm really busy with the kids. So I'm not motivated to post that day.
Yeah.
But at least if I have my little like cheat sheet schedule, I'm like, all right, at least I know I need to post about that. Let me just either find something I've used already and repost it or create something on that topic. So I think that's a quick tip for everyone out there that, you know, just pick an hour out of your week and kind of outline your days. Just one post a day, you know, will get you far for sure.
Yeah, sounds good. How you hit on a nerve for me? This Section 8. I was dealing for years of Section 8 in New York City being a freeze. What's going on in with Section 8?
Oh, do you mean for new vouchers, new
Yeah, for new
applicants?
vouchers. Yeah.
Yeah, they still have it on the freeze. They supposedly were going to open it, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. There's like thousands of people on the wait list still. So it's not, they're not opening the wait list. They're saying 2 to 3 years before the next round.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I get people that hit me up all the time. They're like, hey, I live in Brooklyn or the Bronx. I need to move. And do you know any landlords? I'm like, nobody wants to take it in New York. Nobody wants to open it up. So a lot of people are moving out of upstate New York. So they're going to areas like Kingston, New York, Middletown, New York. There's a lot of people with Section 8 moving up there. Even Yonkers, a lot of landlords are not taking it because the rent has gone up so much that they'd rather get the extra money from a regular tenant.
Wow.
So it's very, very tricky. Yeah, Jersey, the list was open in Bergen County during COVID. They just closed it for new vouchers.
Okay.
So it's a touch and go. It depends on what county you're in.
Now, one last thing related to social work is these eviction moratoriums that is going to be a freaking
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
disaster. And no, I show some empathy for landlords like yourself. Like you need your money as
Mhm.
well. At the same time, we got people losing their jobs, people needing to pivot with jobs, people
Right, right.
getting new jobs and stuff like that. And rents and still need to be paid. Landlords need to get their money. And I'm glad the school district that I work at now, they already anticipating a wave of homelessness with,
Really?
uh,
Because of
because
the evictions.
the eviction moratorium that's going to be ending, and it's happening throughout the country eventually. Whether New York, New Jersey, they like
Yeah.
keep extending, but
Yeah, but also the problem is like there was a lot of rental assistance programs. Like here, I was sending applications out left and right. So there was funds there for people to apply for to get funding for the landlords. But this is like half and half. Some of the cases I've heard people are like, I'm not filling out the paperwork. I'm just not, whatever. I'm not doing it. I'm not participating. Some landlords also were like, no, I just want my money. I'm not gonna get the state involved. So there's a lot of stubbornness going on because obviously the money was there for people to use it, right? So
and I don't
that's
think that was really talked about. Like
yeah. But that's one side of it, right? And then you have
yeah,
the people that are really struggling that they don't know about the assistant programs because there's a bunch of programs you got to apply to all of them and see who accepts you. People that don't know, they don't speak English, so they don't know where to go. They don't know how to use a computer, so they don't know where to go. And then those people that worked in restaurants and hotels specifically, because a lot of hotels closed down, their unemployment just ended, right? The extra unemployment check also ended,
right,
they've been on unemployment all this time, but they haven't been paying the rent necessarily because they could, they had other responsibilities.
right.
So those people are the ones that are like really concerning, right? Because we're like, those are families, working families that they didn't have access to the information. So I think it's going to be really tricky and it's going to be bad anyway, no matter how we look at it. But I also hope that there's more good landlords than bad ones, because the other thing is, if you hold a mortgage on these properties, all the banks were offering forbearance, every single bank
Mm.
under this last COVID plan. So all you had to do
I
was
didn't hear
apply
about
for,
that with the banks doing that.
yeah, they're doing it for regular people and they're doing it for people that own rental properties. So again, if you're like, I got to pay my mortgage and you're not getting money from your tenant, go get a forbearance, push it to the end of your loan, right? So that you don't got that responsibility. You still got to pay your property taxes, but at least you don't got to pay that mortgage for a short amount of time until your tenant can, get back on their feet. So there's a lot of little pieces that are like a lot of people didn't really talk about.
Yeah,
But
nobody was talking about it.
yeah. So
Not
like I
even
have a
on
friend
the
that,
news and nothing.
right. Like I had a friend that owns a 3 family and he's like, two of the tenants weren't working. Like they were doing Uber and Uber Eats and stuff, but it wasn't enough to pay the rent.
Right.
And I was like, call your bank, ask for a forbearance. If you don't got the funds to pay for your loan, for your mortgage. And then he's like, you know what? I called the bank and they gave it to me. I just had to send the information in of all the tenants, copies of the contracts, get letters from the tenants saying that they're not able to pay. And he was able to get his forbearance put in for 6 months.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So I just think there's a lot of footwork that people either didn't do or they didn't want to do, or they just didn't know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that didn't know, and it wasn't promoted. Like the news didn't really talk about it. Like
Right.
government officials wasn't trying to push these programs. Okay, we got these programs. Okay, what programs do you have? And it's like just
Yeah.
there, like not really going into details or what people can do. I know the city had a program. New York City had a program about for people for like renters, like to pay. Like say you're on time with your rent and to pay, you can't pay moving forward. Like there's a program to pay at least a couple months ahead. That way, if you
Okay.
fall behind, that like you're basically still up to date. I know I did that for my dad, and I'm waiting. It got partially approved. I'm waiting for the landlord to do
Okay.
what he need to do so that that money could come in. So, there's that program, and I know there was the city got the FEMA benefits for funeral assistance for.
Right.
You
I
gotta have
heard about that. Yeah.
COVID. I did that. For my mom. So
Right.
I know about those type of programs, being in existence, and they were pushing that. But in terms everything you said, I was like, I'm a little mind blown right now. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
talked about like at all. Just and it helps like both
Yeah.
people,
It helps
and
both
it helps.
sides.
Yeah, because I know.
The other thing is that I know that like, yeah, the thing is a lot of people, so we're landlords, specifically for New York. So what happened in a lot of these buildings that have, 30, 40 units, if these units were occupied with people that were living there a long time and the rent is under market, some landlords were even like, I'm not even gonna tell my tenants about rental assistance because they didn't want the tenants to be up to date because they want those units vacant so they can rent them at market, right?
Right.
So that's where I see it as, they were wrong on that part because they were just trying to get people to get evicted legally, except
Right.
that it keeps getting extended. So they're now probably they're like, oh shit, I should have just done the right thing. But yeah, it's all over the place. But if you want information on that, if you have anybody in your circle or from your other peers that might want to send information about the rental assistance program, let me know. I can send you a couple of links so people can apply.
Yeah, that'd be great. At least I could like repost the links,
Yeah.
or I still have a lot of peers that work in New York, so I just
Yep.
post those things up as resources, or add that to the podcast as I
Right.
keep going. So
Okay.
yeah, that'd be
Sounds
great.
good. I'll send it over.
Thank you.
No problem.
Uh,
All right.
How people could find you?
So I am on Instagram, the urban teach _. My website is urbanteachnyc.com. I'm also on Twitter. Now I'm on TikTok for business. So yes, any of those channels will be great. I'm usually on Instagram every day, so you can send me a DM with any question, or go to my website and check out my upcoming classes and my membership group, which meets every Monday. That's for anyone that's interested in buying rental properties and managing their own properties. So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. It's good to see you again.
Same here. Thanks, Baz.
All right.
Say hi to the family, and I hope to see you soon. And I need to get out to Delaware. I keep saying that. Even to Tiona, she's always like, "You always say you're coming out here. You never do." So I need to.
This housing market, well, like everywhere else, but this housing market is bananas.
Bananas. Yeah, you're
I just
glad you got in at the time you got in, right?
Exactly. That's why I tell my fiance all the time. You don't understand how lucky like we got it. And
Good.
her sister-in-law, she just got a real estate license. She was like, "You guys got so lucky. Perfect timing." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I've been studying the market, the Delaware market since your event in 2017." So it's
Oh my God, yes, in Harlem. Crazy, right? Like 4 years later. Time's flying by.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on the show.
No problem. Thank you again for coming. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Bass.